What is up, everybody? It is March 1st, Friday. And today we're going to talk about Israel Adesanya and Dricus du Plessis. So, my last couple videos from last week was talking about how Izzy's back, how Eugene, Izzy's coach, had come out, said that Izzy's been training for a month. And if they give him a date, he'd be ready. He's got about 2 more months to go to be back where he was in training. It's like it would all time out. So that sounded like 300. Sounded exactly like 300. Izzy has now come out, and I was talking about, like, it's going to be Izzy and du Plessis at first. But one of them shot it down, or both of them shot it down, and we didn't know who. So then it was being worked around Izzy versus Chimaev. And the only reason Chimaev isn't in 300 is because of travel issues. The dude could pretty much only fight in Saudi Arabia. So that's literally going to prevent the guy from ever getting a title shot. Like, he's not going to... They can't have a champion that can't go anywhere to defend. Like, it's just not going to work. But it's now come out, Israel, I guess on his own podcast, him and Dan Hooker were hanging out, and they talked about how they got the call, and they were offered Dricus du Plessis for the belt at 300. I'm wanting to say, I don't know if it was confirmed as the main event or not, but I would imagine it would be, especially given the main event we have now. He confirmed that he accepted it. Dan Hooker confirmed he accepted it. There's no reason for him to lie about it. So that means the other side didn't accept it. When I was listening to Chael today, I don't know if he was just giving possible reasons or if du Plessis had come out and said, hey, it's not enough time for recovery, which is kind of fair. But that's twice he's turned down Israel, including once where it was a shot for the belt itself. So that's kind of odd, you know what I mean? So I'm wondering if du Plessis really even thinks he can beat Israel. I really don't know. If you know me personally, I'm not a fan of du Plessis' style. I feel like he looks like an amateur a lot of the time. I'm happy for his success and stuff. I don't hate him as a person or anything. I'm not trying to be like that. But he looks down a lot. He flinches a lot. It just looks really, really amateur the way he like stutters and stuff. And he gets beat up every fight. Even though he's won fights, he gets beat up, and it's like, I don't know if I've really watched him clearly win a fight. I guess against Whitaker he did, but it just looked like Whitaker wasn't there. I don't know. Who would the so fans control everything. Who would we even want to see du Plessis fight if it's not Israel? So du Plessis has the belt. I do think we were down for Strickland again. Like, you can't just give Izzy the title shot. And I remember feeling that way, and I probably even made a video about it. Like, you got to give Strickland the run back on that, especially when it didn't really look like Strickland decisively lost. That headbutt was very impactful. I don't know, man. It was a close fight, I guess. I feel like Strickland won. Like, I don't know. This stupid takedown crap where people just go and hug someone for a minute and don't accomplish anything. We've got to get something fixed in the rules about that. But, so if it wasn't going to be Israel, if he keeps turning down Israel, the only other fight I can see him fighting is Strickland. If not, who else would we want to see du Plessis fight? And that might be hard for me to make a claim at that because I'm not a fan of du Plessis. I feel like he's going to drop that belt the first defense. I definitely feel like Israel will roll through him. I feel like Sean will if they do again. The way Whitaker looked against Paulo, I imagine Whitaker rolls through him too. I don't know who else you could... Paulo Costa, but he lost to Whitaker. So it's like, it's got to be one of them three. It has to be. I don't know. I guess the point of this video I was trying to make is I really feel like du Plessis just doesn't want to fight Israel. Looking at the matchup, I think he thinks it's not good. It's not going to work out in his favor. I could be wrong. At the time that was popping off, that was the hottest fight we could have had. And that was the first sign I really saw of fans kind of shifting against Israel, including myself. Like, I don't know. It is what it is. Something else interesting, kind of since we're on the topic of Duplessis. Duplessis been pushing for UFC Africa. He's been saying that forever. That's kind of how Duplessis got his rise, as people were saying they were the best or whatever, and no one would fight him, and he would call them out, and he just kind of just got ignored. He kept running his mouth at the bottom of the rankings or not being ranked, and then all of a sudden, I think he took a fight on short notice and just took off. He really grabbed a lot of attention with the being a true African thing. That was what Francis Ngannou wanted to accomplish, and it's still possible. I loved how at the Bellator versus the PFL fights this past weekend, the commentator that interviewed Jon Jones just straight up said he and everyone else, we all want to see Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou, and that the PFL is down to work a deal out. Francis Ngannou is down to work a deal out. It's all on UFC and Jon Jones, and they should work a deal out. I thought that was a great statement that kind of shoves it back into Dana White's face. Do you really want to fight? Does Dana White want to put his number one pound-for-pound guy up against the number one pound-for-pound guy of another division or another promotion? Or does he not really want to fight? I think that's beautiful to turn that back on him. If Dana don't work out a deal to where he could prove that he's got the number one pound-for-pound, he's not making the best fights in the world, and the claims he makes about the UFC being the best, he's not willing to test it. Man, if the PFL hits a press conference with like what I just said, how Dana's always downing fighters when he doesn't want to pay them, it's not him, it's not just him, we say that for ease, but how they're not getting paid properly, and then they want to work out a deal or work out a contract, and they'll be like, they don't really want to fight. That's exactly what's in his face right now. And Dana's going to be the one that doesn't want to work out a fight. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, we're at 7.5 minutes. I think that's enough. So, recap today. Duplessis turned down the fight with Israel Adesanya at 300. Israel had accepted it. If he's not going to fight Israel, he's not going to fight on 300 at all. He's too soon. If he's not going to fight Israel, which may be what he's trying to do, since he's declined the fight twice, once for a shot at the belt, now to defend the belt, who else would he fight? And then in addition to that, we had the PFL versus Bellator. And they basically said they were down to work out a deal where Jon Jones and Francis could fight, and it's all on the UFC and Jon Jones side. And that's freaking powerful. That's awesome. But y'all have a good weekend. This is a War Lab. Big time players do big time things, and we do big things every round, baby. Cody Brett, your mom's still a hoe, brother.